Welcome back to the game, everyone. This is Robert, continuing my playthrough of the solo adventure in the Pathfinder, the role-playing game. We had a choice to make. We had just killed a goblin and found that we were basically facing a fork in the road. It says the east corridor is full of cobwebs and looks like it has not been used in a long time. If you go east, turn to 18. The west corridor smells of hay and mold, but is clear of webs. If you go west, turn to entry number 4. I believe, since I'm trying to find any children or survivors, I think I'll try to use the passage that has been used recently. So let's go down to the west and go to number 4. Alright, entry number 4. The smell of mold grows stronger with each step down the western corridor. After about 50 feet, the corridor ends in a simple wooden door that stands half open, revealing a room beyond. Inside the room is a large cage made up of iron bars with a layer of moldy hay on the bottom. Lying in the hay is a local farm boy from Sandpoint, one of the children who went missing in a recent goblin attack. He looks hungry and is covered with bruises. Across the room from his cage, a large key dangles from a hook a few feet off the floor, just low enough for a goblin to reach. The boy appears to be sleeping. Okay, I've got another decision to make. If you take the key from the hook, turn to entry 11. If you wake up the boy and talk to him, turn to entry 22. If you ignore the boy and leave the room, turn to 14. Well, I'm not going to leave the boy, so go for the key or wake him up first. Maybe I'll try to get the key first, thinking that if I can get the key and then go over and then wake him up and let him out, that would be the best thing. Otherwise, if I'm talking to him, he's just going to shout at me to let him out. So I'm going to go get the key. You lift the iron key from the hook. It looks like it might fit the lock on the farm boy's cage. You're his only chance to escape the dungeon. Alright, next choice. If you wake up the boy and talk to him, turn to entry 22. If you ignore the boy and leave, turn to 14. No, let's wake him up and talk to him. You call out to the boy, and his eyes slowly open. Thank the gods, he croaks through cracked and bloodied lips. I was out working the fields when that goblin ambushed me. I think he's going to eat me. Please let me out of here. I just want to go home. What do you do? If you use the key to free the boy, go to entry number 6. If you ignore his plea and leave, go to number 14. I'm going to let him out. Number 6. Thank you, the farm boy sobs as you open the door to the cage. I've been trapped here for days. I'm getting out of here, but if you're going to keep going, you should be careful. There's something far more terrible than a goblin deeper in the dungeon. The goblin called it the Skeleton King. Here, take my mace with you. He brushes aside some straw on the cell floor and pulls out a weapon that looks like a club with a large metal head. Where did you get that? I managed to hide it down the back of my shirt when the goblin captured me. I think you're going to need it against whatever is hiding down there. Good luck. With that, the young boy races out of the dungeon, heading home to his family. Record that you have a mace on your piece of scratch paper. This weapon might come in handy later. Alright, well here's a picture of a light mace. Now obviously not all maces look the same, but I gotta tell you, I am impressed that that kid got that thing down the back of his shirt and the goblin didn't see it. Alright, let's continue. Turning from the room, you head back up the corridor to the chamber with the dead goblin. The only way left to go is to the east, down the cobweb-filled corridor. Using your torch to burn away the webs, you carefully make your way down the eastern corridor. After about 30 feet, the corridor turns to the south and proceeds for another 20 feet before opening up into a large chamber. I now have a choice to make. If this is your first time here, turn to number 12. If you've explored this way before, turn to number 8. We'll go to number 12. It's our first time here. This large chamber is mostly empty, except for the cobwebs hanging from the ceiling. Across the room, you can see a gruesome stone sculpture of a devil perched above an open doorway. Scattered across the floor are a few gold coins. Through the doorway, you can see a flight of stairs going down deeper into the dungeon. Seeing no monsters in the room, you make your way toward the stairs, stopping to pick up the coins along the way, of course. Halfway through the chamber, your foot catches on a hidden tripwire. Suddenly, a blast of flame shoots out of the stone devil's mouth, coming right toward you. Uh-oh. You have encountered a trap, a common danger in dungeons. A trap makes an attack against your character. In this case, the trap shoots a cone of fire at you. This fire fills the entire room and automatically hits you, dealing 6 points of damage. Your only hope is to try to leap back out of the room and thus take less damage. This attempt is represented by a saving throw. To make a saving throw against this trap, roll a d20 and add 2. If your total is greater than the difficulty class or DC of the trap, you take only half damage. The DC of this trap is 11, so if your saving throw total is 11 or greater, your saving throw is successful, and you take only 3 points of damage. After this initial gout of flame, the trap is sprung and is no longer a threat. Alright, well, let's make our roll. We're going to be adding 2 to the roll. Here we go. And I think we're going to get burned. 3 plus 2 is 5. Not good enough to beat 11. So we take the full damage of 6 hit points of damage. It says to write your new hit point total on your scratch paper, then turn to the next page to see what your options are. Well, I was burned pretty severely. That actually took me down to half of my hit points, so I have 6 hit points left. If the fire reduces your hit points to 0 or fewer, the trap kills you. You go to number 17. If you still have at least 1 hit point, you survive the trap, and you go to entry number 21. The fire burned you a bit, but you managed to survive. You finish collecting the coins, 9 gold pieces in total. All that remains is the scorched statue and the staircase leading down. You've heard that dungeons get more dangerous the deeper you venture. Are you ready to explore the deeper level? Another choice can be made here. If you want to head deeper into the dungeon, turn to number 10. If you want to go back and check the other passageway, turn to number 2. Well, I think I've already been down the other passageway, correct? So let's continue on, number 10. Well, having suffered 6 hit points of damage, I think it's a pretty wise decision now to go ahead and drink this potion of healing. This potion said that it would heal me for up to 8 hit points, so that will return my hit point value to its maximum of 12. With my longsword and mace, I'm going to head down deeper into the dungeon. The ancient stone stairs are slick with moisture. At the bottom, you find that they end in a large natural cavern filled with stalactites and stalagmites. You can see shallow pools of water on the floor and a large crack in the far wall that looks like a passageway. As you cross the room, something doesn't feel quite right. You stop and look around. To uncover the mystery, you need to make a skill check. Each character in the game has several skills, representing the adventurer's training. This skill check uses a skill called Perception, which allows you to notice things that are hidden. To make a skill check, roll a 1d20 and add your skill bonus. In this case, your perception skill bonus is +4. Alright, we're going to add 4 to our roll. Let's see if we can do a little better than we did with the saving throw. We did exactly the same as the saving throw. We rolled a 3. 4 plus 3 is 7. If your total perception check is a 12 or higher, turn to 19. If it's less than 12, and sadly this is so, turn to entry number 7. Though you can't shake a weird feeling that something's wrong, you chalk it up to nerves and continue onward. As you resume walking, however, your boot comes down on a nondescript patch of yellow mold growing on the stone. Great. Suddenly, there's a giant whooshing sound, and the air around you explodes into a cloud of yellow spores that seem to be everywhere at once, filling your mouth and nose. The spores cause you to cough and choke, making your eyes water and your arms feel weak. You can continue, but you are sickened by the spores. Write sickened on a piece of scratch paper. Well, here we have sickened. You take a -2 penalty on all attack rolls, weapon damage rolls, saving throws, skill checks, and ability checks. Oh, this is bad. Here we are. When the spores settle, and you can see again through yellow tinged tears, you make your way to the crack in the back of the room. There you find that it is indeed a passageway. A flickering light beckons up ahead, accompanied by the rattle of dry bones. To make your way down the passageway, turn to entry number 5.